What is going on, guys? My name is Keith, aka Sunny Kisu. First video, I'm really excited to show you guys a deck from the latest collab, Freyren Journey's End. So I thought a lot about Freyren and Fern being very powerful decks in their own right, but I haven't heard much about Stark. It's pretty much the Rezio we have at home. We're gonna bring it to the locals that I go to pretty much every Saturday to join their weekly tournament against decks like Haluru and Youthberk, which are very established decks in the JP meta, as well as upcoming new meta decks like Leonon. So we're gonna see how Stark actually fares against these decks. It's been a while since I did any videos. We're gonna shake off a little rust with this one. So until then, I hope you guys would like, share and subscribe, and I hope you guys will enjoy the video. It's a fun one. See you there. Alright, let's try a voiceover for our gameplays. So, round 1, I was up against my friend YJ, and the format we were playing that day was actually 3-on-3. So, me and my two other buddies, Kenneth and Glenn, we formed Team McDonald's upsize because we're not very small people, or at least two of us aren't. And I went first, so definitely gives me a bit of an edge over Leonon because I get to rush early, I guess. But then again, Leonon has always been a deck that, you know, rushes even if they go first or second, and you're gonna see how well Leonon actually does it now with the double Rosarium. So he goes up to Glacier, allowing him to spawn a plant token, Rosarium and another Rosarium for a full board. So I actually went ahead and played Stark today, and no guard for the value with the crit, letting me go up to 18, no trigger on YJ's side. So my right line allows me to farm out the normal orders, right? So they're essentially like free discard orders for me, and they are amazing because they allow me to play from the graveyard. So that's really one advantage that Stark has over the other two decks. So allows me to get a red text when I attack hit, I draw a card. So this does not just apply to Vanguard, it allows me to draw card even if I kill a rear guard. So you're gonna really see the great farming potential that Stark actually has, and it has established itself, in my opinion, as one of the decks in Standard that doesn't really have to Vanguard swing Vanguard. You know, we actually can value off by swinging rear guards as well. So here we go with the normal Keter Power things, you know, Sadagal, Tefalt, Order, Value, you know, and Vanguard starts swinging. So that is a total of 23k. Heal trigger makes it huge. Power to Fern, allowing me to heal 1, and that's a huge number coming in from Fern with a boost of Sadagal. So the amount of farming that the deck can actually do is pretty insane. It's just that one problem I really find with Stark is there is a latent lack of push power as compared to the other decks. So obviously Fern, if you read the cards, they're actually way more aggro compared to the other two decks, and Freyren is just a straight up value engine deck with the amount of compression that they have, even from the normal Keter stuff. And there is, I have no idea why, but the plane is flying above my place right now. So huge 2 damage. 2 of the Starks actually went to the damage zone. And Moil Moray, we are just gonna check the effect real quick because we are unsure if we have to have a Unison State Vanguard, but turns out you just have to, I think, reveal a Unison Dress and go on. So here we go with the turn. I was actually contemplating going up to grade 3 because I didn't want to give Leonon the full smackback potential that it has if opponent is at grade 3. So I actually stayed on grade 2 for one turn just to really deny the full one pushback, because I remembered my hand was huge, but I think it was like jam-packed with orders, so I didn't really want to deal with a full Leonon Truman push turn. And yeah, so typical stuff, pushing, and moving on to YJ's turn. He goes up to Leonon by discarding the Quick Shield Cycler, so allowing him to get essentially a free 10k shield. And funny enough, when I spoke to YJ after the game, he actually said that his deck was pretty much centered around guarding and tanking instead of the rush slash revival kind of gameplay that Leonon tends to turn towards. So that's why you're gonna see actually with my deck that is sort of focused on board control, right? he was not able to establish the full board that Leonon really priced themselves on. So first check from YJ, that definitely hurts with a critical trigger all to the grade 2, and a huge trigger, huge for YJ, very very huge, double critical trigger, and it got me shaking a while. I was actually thinking, I remember very vaguely thinking, oh damn, this is gonna hurt. Right, so with the grade 2 full boost from Rosarium, I had to drop more cards, and I actually took this. Did I take this? I believe no, I didn't. I actually no? Yeah, so here we go. And normally Stuck would be a 10k intercept, but I have to beat grade 3, so 3/2, nothing. I actually guarded everything because I'm a Chad that way, and I know I can farm back the cards, so I just went ahead and used the grade 1 effect to allow me to slow charge 1, and giving my Vanguard the effect to attack an entire column instead of just 1 unit. So this works really well with the order to allow me to basically hit an entire column of rear guards, removing 2 cards off their board, allowing me to draw 2 along with my Twin Drive. That's a 4 card plus into my hand. So Stuck skill, after attack, if it's the first battle of the battle phase, I can Soul Blast 2 to restand. So combining Stuck rear guards with Stuck Vanguard's effect, it's essentially a 5 attack turn. And there we go, critical trigger on YJ side. I decided to swing the rear guard to get rid of the Rosarium, as well as the annoying grade 2 that is extra shield value and whatnot. So this is really what I meant by Stuck being one of the decks that actually doesn't necessarily have to hit the Vanguard. So there we go, both cards go, Twin Drive, and allowing me to draw 2 along the way. So my hand instantly gets replenished like that. It's just that simple. And yeah, so sign boosting Stuck. He decided to pitch a quick shield because he has a damage trigger from an earlier attack. He goes up to Leonon Vivace, so Vivace is still one of the absolute strongest cards in Stoicheia in my honest opinion. I played Leonon back in Vietnam BCS if I'm not mistaken, and it was just an absolute fun time. So this is actually like one of the moments where we see Leonon start to struggle a little bit with the board presence, especially with YJ specific build. I get his idea of the defensiveness that he's trying to achieve, but I personally like a Leonon that has more value by reviving cards, like the Purple Head grade 1 promo. I don't exactly remember the name. I'll probably put a picture up right now so you guys know what I'm talking about. So Leonon, Vivace, Unison Dress, full restand 3 front row to get more push, so essentially making it a 6 attack turn. Really powerful in current metagame. So this is just us doing some calculation, confirming effects and the numbers, because Rosarium is slightly bigger, but the power is not that huge compared to what Leonon usually hits with 50s and 60s, sometimes even 70s. So here we go, I took 1, I got crit, and essentially shutting down the Rosarium. So here I went with the riding up on a Persona Ride, start coming out from the graveyard like a combined rusher if there is no same name unit on the board with an order play. So here we go with more value. I have no idea what I was thinking. I should have really started pushing the face, but I was like, hey man, this is for fun, right? And we're just gonna like test how fast Stuck can go. Even though I genuinely believe that Stuck is not the best out of the 3, but we were just there to have a great time at locals. So here I went with the Senegal on play and EB7 to draw 1. And yeah, Gem Beast for the extra shield value by removing 2 right decks, and my Vanguard actually going for the Rosarium again because I, as a ex-Leonon player, know how cancerous Leonon can be with the Rosarium. So here I am with my Stuck pushing the Vanguard again. I don't see value in attacking the critical trigger because it can just be there honestly for the sake of it. And I believe we were doing some calculations here and figuring out what's the optimal guard value. So you can just see from my sheer hand size that even with my damage at 3, we're pretty much matched in damage, but my hand definitely has the advantage. My board has an advantage as well. Even if I double intercept with the Stuck, they can both come back, or rather one of them can come back with a simple order play. So a little introduction on the order card that you see right there. That is actually not a set order, it is a bind zone, but I decided to put it there because I really like the art of it. And if you guys watch the show, you guys know exactly which scene it is from. So yep, with a simple order play, I get to revive back a Stuck. So I believe he decided to attack, and showing Stuck's true intercept potential with the 10k intercept, I think Stuck is just the most amazing grade 2 card in the entire collaboration. So Vivace starts swinging, checking a draw, powering to the Bebe critical trigger, and I believe his second check was blank. Yep, here we go. So triple restand again. The Pride Dragon, I think swinging my face. Can't remember what exactly I did to guard the attack, but I believe I was pushed to 5 this turn, if I'm not wrong. So Leonon, I played Transfer. He was obviously shocked for a bit, but me being at 4, I was able to deny the heal, which was huge because this was pretty much a grind game, and even though Stark has amazing farming capabilities, decking out was an issue. So here we go with the 5th order. You might be wondering why, but the Fragrant orders allow us to play 8 copies. So for Fern, Zorga, and the Dragon Slaying Slash, they both allow us to play 8 copies, and as you can see, my board state is looking a little shabby. I believe a Fern would have been great here because Fern with Persona Right is a 35k attack accompanied with Stark's plus 5k effect from the Vanguard skill. So here we go again. I believe this is where I started to push the Vanguard. He was checking the amount of crits because he wanted to no guard for the value, but I think he did guard it anyway because he was afraid with my deck being so thin that I would check a double critical for game. So here we go, the first crit is out, second check, sign, nothing, absolutely nothing. I believe if Stark has a triple drive, I think the deck would just be absolutely broken. But then again, who am I to say anything? I still really like the deck and how it functions. Plus, Stark is just one of my favorite characters. So counter, restand, heal right there, sign giving him the 1 damage. Not exactly sure if that was a mistake because I don't really want them to have value from heals and even the cost to sort of just, you know, do more shenanigans. So here we go, grade 2 effect, return, and giving the Bebe plus 15k from Sinceret's ability. So here we can see Leonon actually further struggling with board presence. I believe we were just having a great time laughing it off because we were thinking, since when does Leonon power only hit like 30k? And yeah, so that's the fun thing about locals, you know, coming together with friends, having a laugh at the kind of dumb plays that we do, and like discovering that actually the decks are not meant to be like that. So I believe my deck was already like pretty much at its last legs, and Bebe attacks, so intercept 10k, yep, there we go. Leonon attack, if he checks a heal now, I am pretty much dead because I cannot push with my Vanguard. I had like 3 cards left in deck, so denying my twin drive, and he checked the heal. I told myself, you know what, that's over, and that was game 1. Okay, game 2. Game 2 was probably the most amazing yet tragic game of the entire day. So I'm fighting Haluru. Haluru definitely one of the strongest decks right now in the JP meta and possibly the EN meta as well. One of my favorite looking decks by far in terms of artwork as well. I like the whole like Willy Wonka slash toy kind of aesthetic that Haluru actually brings to the table. So in case you guys do not know what Haluru does, it's basically a Dark States deck that plays with set orders, specific set orders like the one that you guys are about to see now. Toys are meant for children. So what it does is on play you get to top 5, add 2 toys into hand, 1 to your hand and 1 to the soul actually, and it kind of acts like the archetype order, right? So it allows you to filter out 2 specific cards, not exactly specific, 2 archetype based cards, and still continue to value off as the game goes on. So I went second, so that's already a pretty bad situation for me. But yep, so there we see Coaster Shark coming out. So both the grade 1 and the grade 2 have the same effect in the right line, allowing you to search out toys are meant for children. So second one he whiffed, so quite unfortunate. So yep, and I believe this is where he started to aggro me. Yep, Bunny, one of the most broken cards ever. Bushiroad, what are you guys doing not banning the Bunny? This card provides so much unnecessary compression for the deck. So there we go, we see what the order actually does in the order zone. Tap 2 of it to insert a toy from the graveyard into the soul. So here we have the pony, so that's the special intercept, and yep, tri-column. Absolutely tragic. So you can see I whiffed both of my right lines, 0 value at all from the right lines, having to discard more shield value from my hand. Absolutely disgusting of a game for me and a horrible start. So Haluru not giving a damn if he takes damage because he is still in the advantage right here. Stronger board presence and lesser damage. Hand size wise as well, pretty much on equal footing. So going up to grade 3, this is absolutely devastating for me because I had 0 farm. I lost value in the right deck as well. So this is like a demonstration of how bad start can be if you do start whiffing and bricking. So there we go, Haluru's effect to call out cards, and this is pretty much a good board, I guess, the ideal board setup for Haluru. Maybe the grade 1, the bunny at the behind the Vanguard can change, but hey man, for the sake of compression, right, might as well. And they don't really mind if, you know, bunnies get pressed over, because they can just use the order in the order zone to slot them back into the soul. So yep, there we go. Haluru's effect, restanding Bevy Loss to get the extra critical. And triple drive, twin drive I think, so crit and ace unit. So ace unit is actually huge. Heal trigger is great for me as well, because I get to heal the dragon strike from my order zone to the graveyard for me to use it the next turn. So there we go, push to 5 right before I entered grade 3 turn. Absolutely devastating. So there we go, playing the order from the graveyard. I do not even have a grade 2 start to call out from the order usage. It's so sad. So Tefalt, there we go, calling Statagon. Still no grade 2 start, absolutely tragic. So again, this is a pretty crappy game for me, but hey man, we power on. So there we go, Fern counter blasting instead of energy blasting, because I did EV7 to draw one. So here we go, 15k block from Haluru. The pony actually intercepts from the back row, so that's pretty cool. And very smart play from my opponent right here. He decides to basically not let me swing full column, although I did not have the specific grade 1 to allow me to swing the whole column, but I guess this is still a good play from his end. So double front, tragic once again. I guess I rather see the front triggers here than the drive check, so meh, I don't really know. If I do sound a little bit weird now, I apologize. I'm feeling really under the weather right now, doing the voiceovers in separate days. So yep, so you can see my hand size actually coming back, and Haluru actually getting the 4th order without the use of Avarice. That's pretty good on the Haluru player side. So this is basically Haluru at its full power, right? You get to activate all of the effects. So if you have, I think, 2 orders, you get to stand 1 Happy Toys, which is what he did the previous time by restanding Very Loss and giving it 10k. So 3, I think it allows you to give Haluru 5k, and if my opponent is grade 3 or greater, I get 1 drive. So it's not a triple drive, so you can't LM it. And 4 or more allows you to stand another rearguard. So essentially 4 orders, letting you get full value at 5 swings. So both of the grade 2 toys, they actually do have additional effects if they restand during the battle phase, which is pretty cool. So if you guys have not tried Haluru, I would honestly suggest you guys to try it. Aside from Virgila, at least in the JP meta, it is one of the more affordable meta decks right now. So if you guys want to have a great time playing the game, I guess you can play Haluru, although it's honestly a pretty helmet deck. You know, you don't really do much. So being able to tank through the entire turn, I really found it to be like a miracle on its own, right? So grade 2 start actually coming out. So here we go with the grade 1 allowing me to swing 1 entire column, as I'm explaining to him right now. So him being at 4, he's unlikely to take a swing from my Vanguard. So it might actually be good if I swing his grade 2 column with the bear. And yep, so I have to attack with the start first, unfortunately, to get the Soul Blast 2 to restand. But still, this game has been nothing but unfortunate. Although you guys would see why this is a pretty cool game, I would say. This is probably one of the most amazing games I played in the entire day. But then again, all 4 of my games have been pretty amazing. So I really like this new collab. I really like how the deck works. I love the artwork as well. I'm a huge fan of the Fragrance series. And Twin Drive blank, so absolutely tragic. Here we go, clearing the entire Haluru board, although they can call out cards pretty easily with the Vanguard ability, and they can recur resources with the orders, so it's really nothing much to be amazed about. Right, so heading over the turn, my hand is at 4, absolutely tragic, and 5 damage, so I'm pretty much backed up against the corner right here. Haluru not having a personal right, that's alright, I guess. And I believe they're still gonna get a game. So let's just see how it goes from here. Right, so here we go with the standard board state, you know, Baby Lost with the bunny at the back, the bear with the pony at the back as well. So nothing behind Haluru, not really needed. and I believe this is where I shouted Noga for the value in the store, and everybody just looked at me. So here we go with the Gem Beast. I think this is a 1 or 2 off in most Haluru decks, although mostly I've seen just a 1 off, mostly for just the counter charge, because not having counter blast in Haluru can be devastating. It's pretty much like in Paudio not having counter blast, so it kind of sucks. Yep, there we go, Stark's effect. So Vanguard swing, I did say no guard here, he did not check a crit, but here we go, we activated Stark's divine skill. So if I take the 6 damage and the 6th card has a card name with Stark or the order, I get to heal 1 card from my damage zone. So that's pretty cool, and I hit a 6 heal after that as well, so absolutely amazing. Sky rolling right there, but nothing much to do because I had basically no rear guards, no resources. I did have the order though, so that's pretty good. Oh, sign is there, so that's pretty great. And here we go, attack. So his hand is like it's like the Great Wall of China right there, absolutely stacked with shield value. So here we go, Vanguard swing, counter blast, restanding the Tefalt. So perfect guard right there from my opponent. And twin drive, I believe I did not check much here as well. I'm not even sure if an over trigger would save me here, honestly. So yep. Yep, I believe I just straight up told my opponent, you know what, all of my heals are out, my OT is out as well, I think, and that was all she wrote. Alright, third game, probably the closest game I played, I guess. So we're up against my buddy Kowler. He's playing Youthberk, so Youthberk just got a new grade 2 that is a pretty good boost to the deck, I would say. They don't necessarily have to play Gallatin anymore, or the 0 version of Gallatin. So that's great news, and it's a specific support meant for Youthberk with an effect that allows them to gain power for every Rebel form in the Bind or in Soul or Vanguard Circle, something like that, which is a huge power push that they need. So here we go, I went second, and Berk going first is not necessarily always a good thing for the opposing player. They capitalize on going first with the whole Kita pile and everything, and their entire right line just sort of gains them value by swarming the board, fixing up their hands for the Rebel forms. So here we see the new grade 2 in action, calling out a Kodino. So Kodino is still one of the most broken cards ever printed for Youthberk. Searching out the Rebel form Exist, I believe that is Exist. I'm not entirely sure of all their names. We just refer to them by their color. So here I go explaining what the rear guards do for my deck, because Kowler has no idea what the decks actually do. So here we go, making my first huge misplay of the day, honestly, I would say. I thought I could guard everything, but I was wrong. So I should have taken the first damage, essentially shutting down his turn and basically saving me 2 hand cards, because the top card was an over trigger. But then again, even if it was a normal trigger or what, I should have just kept it, you know. But yep, so here we go, explosive start from my end with the start coming out, Tefalt and everything. So really amazing. So you can see I'm at a huge lead when it comes to the damage count. So here we go, and I believe he takes that here. Yep, he's pushed to, I believe that's 4 damage already. So yeah, he's going up to his first grade 3 turn. So if you have never fought against Youthberk, essentially they're a very explosive deck right off the start, swarming boards, huge powers, and always basically having just nice enough resources for whatever that they intend to do. So being a Kita deck, obviously that involves having a constant flow of board state. So here we have the new, I believe this is like a combined rusher type of card with extra shield value. So you can really see where this card actually comes into clutch, like towards the later part of the game. So I guarded 2 pass, and he does check and over trigger here. So that was a huge swing for me, and I believe this is where I started to lose a bit of tempo, a little bit of gas, and had to scratch my head a little bit like, ah shit man, that over trigger kind of ruined me for a little bit right there. So here we go, draw trigger, huge for me, and essentially helping me guard very easily for the rest of his attacks. So standard draw, discarding the order, going up to grade 3. So if you notice, I did manage to get a copy of the EXS version of Stark. So shoutouts to Mervin for that, for coming in like halfway through the day and getting it to me. So yep, there we go. So this is just me explaining what Stark actually does in terms of his divine skill. So explaining to him that if I check the grade 3, grade 2 version or the order on my 6 damage, I essentially get to heal once per game. So now gonna do the usual Stark shenanigans, rearguard first, restand, and then Fern, because I get to counterblast 1 with my Vanguard effect to restand. So here we go, Vanguard attack, counterblast 1, Fern restands, because Fern is actually a 5k bigger attacker compared to the Stark grade 2. So here we go, continuing the influx of attacks because he is at 5, so there's virtually no point in going for the rearguard right here. And there we go. So stand and draw, hits the persona right, yep, there we go. And this is where Youthberk capitalizes on laying in the hurt. So here we go, the combined Russia card coming out. I believe it's when a rebel form enters the Vanguard circle, you get to, I think, Soul Blast 1 to call it out. So really good card. Here we see the new grade 2 as well, calling out the Ace unit. Okay, that's another Youthberk right there, so it's calling out the persona right. Alright, Setagaon. So gaining the power buff. This is huge, man. This is really, really huge. So that's like, I don't know. He doesn't get to use the Setagaon effect. I believe we managed to catch the misplay a little bit later into the game. So initially I did thought that he casted an order, but I believe I was mistaken. So here I am guarding with everything, then Setagaon actually activating, right? So and I believe this is where some of our friends that were watching the game did like, hey, Setagaon can use me? Then like, no, actually cannot, because I did have the same amount of rearguards as him and he did not cast an order. So that's unfortunate on Kaola's side, but I don't think that really mattered too much considering that he does get to keep Setagaon, so that's kind of a problem for me. So here we go, Youthberk jumping into Rebel form Exist, or I have no idea what the name is, we usually just call it Yellowberk. So here we go, huge powers coming in to my Vanguard. I had to drop a PG there, although I typically would like to just not use the PG and just save throwing whatever is in my hand. So no persona right, that is extremely unfortunate. So here we go, start first swing, intercept, 10k guard. And this is what I meant by essentially start not having the push power that it actually needs. So crit and the P right actually comes out now. So with my hand being this small and Youthberk having a crackback like crazy, I believe this is the end for me, but who knows. So here we go, going up to the persona right version of Youthberk. Oh man, this is not looking good. So here we are, back to the corner again with 4 cards in hand. Absolute unfortunate position to be in. So luckily my teammates were really strong and they were able to carry my ass all the way up to where I am right now. So I did tell them like, hey guys, I think y'all need to carry me. I'm playing stuck. It's not really the good deck. And they were like, yeah, I agree. Okay, so one of them, Glenn, played Farron, and Kenneth played his typical Alec Lemma. So here we go, Stark's divine skill and heal trigger. This Scowler hitting the heals, man, it's crazy. Alright, so Counter Blast going up to Rebel form, and I believe I guarded the Vanguard and ate the rearguard because that was all she wrote. So yep, critical trigger. If I had a heal, maybe I could have survived, but nah. Alright, so there we go, that was game, and that was all she wrote. Alright, and the final game of the day, I was fighting up against my very good friend and Max Rare Zorga, aka Elvis. So if you're watching this, shoutouts to you. So Zorga has always been one of my absolute favorite decks, man. Like, I started playing the series with Zorga at the start as well. And yep, here we go. So right line, breaking again. Here we go, top 7 and breaking again. So there we go, a very tragic start to the game already. The draw trigger was a little bit of a what do you call it, consolation, I guess. And I managed to set up a relatively decent board despite the right line missing, so I had to really contemplate the
between the two cards that I saw from Vanguard. I don't exactly remember what were my choices, but if I had to struggle in thinking, they had to be pretty damn good. I believe one of them was a Persona Right, and I actually did send that to the bottom of the deck. So here we go. Elvis, I believe he was bricking a little bit as well, otherwise he would have had a very explosive turn 2 with the double RPD and whatever. But here we go with Morphosian, because Elementaria is in the graveyard. He gets to search the one Zorga order that allows him to get back 2 orders. So I was a little bit greedy here, and I didn't have a rear guard, right? So I actually went ahead and called my heal trigger down to sort of get that board presence and a little bit of pressure, even from Seragaon's effect to boost. So here we go. I could have done a 2-column swing, but that would still result in like a 4 attack turn, but I still chose to do it this way. Rather, wait, no, 1, 2, 3 attack turn, yeah. So yep, here we go. Seragaon, you can see I'm really missing up a lot of attackers. Soon you'll see that I miss out on the Persona Right, so thank goodness that my order is still pretty healthy, so thank goodness for that. So here we go, Zorga using the effect to bind Mythiac Habitat, calling out 2. I believe that is the Gem Beast and Harvest Elf. So Harvest Elf, one of the absolute strongest card coming out into Stoicheia this year, and he uses Habitat to call out RPD. Although RPD has no effect, but it's good that he finally sees one. So he used the there's this order that allows him to retire 1 to sack one of my rear guards. So that obviously does hurt me a little bit, because I do require that grade 1 for the constant amount of soul. So missing Persona Right and not having the grade 1 does indeed hurt the deck a little. You can see I'm running a little bit thin on my soul right here, going down to 0 for the restand right here. So that's not exactly a good position to be in. And the heal trigger is completely useless because I have no boosters. Right, so crit, power to start. And here we go, a second copy of the grade 3, so that's pretty good. Right, there we go, stand and draw, going up Persona Right, so he's at max energy right now. Shadow Cloak, doing normal Shadow Cloak things, fishing out the 1 order that he requires, and so that order gives all revived Stoicheia units plus 5000 power, I believe. So here we go, he does bind it and calls out 2 cards, so it will be Harvest Elf and the Over Trigger. So this is a clear sign that he's going to bounce it with Shadow Cloak's Soul Blast 1 ability. So here we go, Alchemagic. So he does get rid of that grade 1 order because he has to self-bind, so it does provide a little bit of a turbo binding for Zorga to keep ramping his rear guards. And despite my position, right, my hand is still pretty good in terms of like value wise, I guess. Just that not having any attackers and not having any boosters does indeed hurt me a little bit, and considering that I do not have any Persona Right as well. So 2 of my games I did break horrendously, and yeah, admittedly the Leonon game I could have perhaps swung face a little bit more often, but hey man, getting rid of the Rosarium does feel pretty good. So you can see Zorga doing Zorga things, having a huge ass hand size, despite it being a 3 attack deck or a 4/5 attack deck as of the recent support. I still believe that Zorga is one of the best decks ever created in Vanguard D series, and let's just face it, having the ability to play more than 1 order a turn is just pretty damn cool. So here we go, I managed to get my Fern and everything, so thank goodness having a Tefort there can help me a little bit as well, but I do not have soul, so I actually have to use the effect crit to still somehow trigger the Soul Blast 2 for Stark's effect. Still no Persona Right, a little bit tragic on my side. So here we go, Elvis going on his other Persona Right, and I believe he did Persona Right, yeah. So I believe this is the turn that he actually went for the Divine Skill. So we're just gonna see how he combos off from here, and we're gonna watch Elvis perform his magic with Zorga. So here we see it, the roaming prison dragon, 2 of them in fact. So here we go. he does have the very good setup already, but he is still going for the value play right there. So knowing Elvis, he's probably one of the best Zorga players in Singapore, so he does know what he is doing. And here we go, the double Harvest Elf to draw 2, and having the Abomination for extra crit pressure as well, and Energy Blasting 4 to further bind and increasing its power. It's just huge, man. Zorga just hits for crazy numbers. If it doesn't go wide, it just goes tall really easily. So here we go, I believe that is his Divine, so restanding that column right there. And with my hand looking so pitifully thin, ah man, it's a rough position to be in. So here we go, I think I hard guarded the Vanguard right here, because this Vanguard is actually pretty small. But I said myself no guard, I think. Oh no, I actually did guard. So managed to successfully tank this turn, and I'm not exactly sure how I continued to play even though the situation was so bleak. Normally in my locals we will be like, hey, you know what, this is a unwinnable situation, you can just go ahead and have the win. But I was like, hey man, for the sake of the video, let's just keep playing lah. So here we go, Persona Right. You can see my Vanguard actually downgraded into a EX triple rare version. So yep, there we go. I believe I should be getting the remaining 3 copies of stuck EXSs that I bought very soon. So he'll trigger right there, and another copy of stuck. So that is Persona Right secured, along with my grade 1 at the back of my Vanguard. I will be able to Soul Blast 2 for the stuck grade 2, but I believe my Regulus piece does require a Soul Blast 1, so lacking that 1 soul does indeed hurt a little bit, considering that it is a 25k shield after all. So here we go, Zorga going up, and I believe Elvis was actually very near his deck out right here, so I was actually hoping to be able to tank far enough to make him deck out, or at least just tank 2 of his rearguard attacks, which I can probably do considering that stuck is latently tanky. So here we go, double RPD, double Harvest Elf. This is probably the best board that Zorga can have in this situation. So that RPD was huge, man. Like 70 something, I think. And here we go, Divine Skill. So I did get a crit and a Divine Skill pulled off, but I did not manage to guard this turn, I believe, because of the amount of power that I just had to face with the RPD. And my hand was actually looking pretty thin, so no choice. Actually, Elvis did play pretty well considering that he did not allow any of my stuck to hit, and that was all she wrote.